Hello 8th graders, lesson 92 in math. What's so confusing about teaching 91 and 92 is that the rules all change between 92 and 91. And so 92 needs to be taught as its own lesson because it does some things the same as, or it looks the same as 91, but it is different. And so let's just get into this. This is talking about the distributive property and estimating higher order roots. And so let's talk about the distributive property. 4 times 2 plus 3 in parentheses tells us to multiply 4 by what is inside parentheses. There are two ways we can do this. On the left, we added 2 and 3 to get 5, and so you have this. On the right, we multiply 4 by 2 and multiply 4 by 3, and then added 8 and 12. So what we did over here is you went 4, 2 plus 3, and then you took 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, and so this one gives you 20, and this one gives you 20. And so that's what we're doing here. The distributive function, you get the same answer both ways. It is especially helpful when we simplify expressions that have variables. If we look at 4x plus y, then we cannot add x and y. Remember, those two terms cannot be combined because they're not like terms. But we can do this. We can go 4 times x, just like we showed in the previous problem, and then 4 times y. So 4 times x and then 4 times y will give you that. Okay, so let's use this distributive function some more. So we have 4 x plus 2y minus 8. Okay, so when we multiply, then that is different than combining like terms. When you multiply terms, you can multiply any term. And so that is different than what we were doing in 91. And so it does not matter that 4 and x are not like terms. It does not matter that 4 and 2y are not like terms, and so on. And so I have 4 times x, which is 4x. Then I switch to the next term. I go 4 times 2 is 8y, right? I only multiply the numbers, and then I also go like this. 4 times a negative 8 is a negative 32. Now, for 92A2, if you notice there, well, let me just write that one down. They take a jump here that is not, they don't do the best job of explaining. X squared minus 2 plus 2x. Okay, so again, when we're multiplying, then anything can be multiplied. It does not matter if they're like or not. And so remember that the understood coefficient for a letter by itself is 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. And do you remember from a couple lessons ago what happened when we went x times x squared? And so that is x to the first power times x to the second power, so that's 3x cubed. Okay? Now we go to the next one here. And this would be a negative 6x. Again, and that x stays. There's nothing to be multiplied by it. And so it just stays by itself. And I go 3 times a negative 2 to get the negative 6. So that's done. And then I go this times this, which would be 3 times 2 is 6. And then x times x would be x squared because I add my exponents. And so my final answer is 3x cubed minus 6x plus 6x squared. And I wish they would explain this a little bit better. They don't take very much time to explain the distributive function. But if you combine what we learned in that lesson with the lesson in lesson 90, the stuff in lesson 90, I hope that will make sense, because what you're doing is you're multiplying the numbers and then you're also multiplying the terms. And the multiplication of the terms is explained in lesson 90, and obviously we know how to multiply the numbers. One thing that, and also the procedures there, look at that handout that I gave you, that the steps for lesson 92, and follow that. Whenever you have the distributive function, your answer should have the same number of terms as what's inside parentheses, because you go this times this, then this times this, then this times this. And so I should end up with 3 terms. If I don't end up with 3 terms, something's wrong. In the context, in this book, you should not have to combine any more terms. This should be your final answer. I can't say for sure about the worksheet. I'm not sure about that right now, but I think that you don't have to worry, as far as the book is concerned, you don't have to worry about combining the like terms, because none of these terms are alike. Like, this is x cubed, this is x squared. The letters are different, so that's as far as I can go. They are not like terms. Okay. Let's go on to estimating higher order roots. When it says to estimate 250 to the cube root, then since you guys have calculators, then I don't really see a need to teach this. Again, you have to follow what it says. You're not estimating, right? But you are using your calculator, and so when it says to the nearest whole number, it has to be to the nearest whole number. If you make it a decimal, then I'm sorry, it's wrong. And so if you look at what they're doing here, again, they're not using calculators, and you guys are, so it should not be a big deal. And so ask a parent if you can't figure out how to do it on a calculator, or I can possibly help you. And again, when it says to the nearest whole number, that's what your answer is. And so the big thing here is to make sure that you distinguish between a lesson 91 question or problem and a lesson 92 problem. A lesson 92 problem will always look like this. Okay, you're going to have a term out front, then you can have terms inside parentheses, and then you multiply, because this is right in front of this parentheses, and so then you multiply. A lesson 91 problem, you're given a bunch of terms, and then you have to combine the like terms and until you can't go any further. Then that's your answer. So hopefully that makes sense. This is kind of heavy stuff, and you probably will have questions, so just stay tuned, and we'll probably do some kind of video conference or something of that nature, maybe like a conference call or a Zoom meeting or something like that. So take care, good luck.